To the Rheingeist hotline, we go for a final time today. I'll let you behind the curtains. Eddie looks at me and he goes, what song should we play for Ed Carpenter? And I go, something fast. I go, wait a minute. The Butler War song. Ed, how did I do on my musical selection for you?
That's a solid choice. Solid choice.
I know you're kind of making the car wash today. You're on with the morning show guys on with me today. I asked a similar question to both Scott and Will earlier. This is your first time not in a race car after 7 days. How you feeling today?
I feel good. We train and prepare for it, and quite frankly, Indy's one of the more easy physical tracks that we do drive at. It's very mentally taxing, so it's nice to get a little bit of a refresh. But yeah, I heard part of your interview with Will, and I agree with what he says. I think if we could run laps at the Speedway every single day all year round, we probably would.
Well, obviously, when it comes to Scott and Will and Joseph, and more so Joseph and Will, you know what the conversation has been like the last 48 hours as a guy that knows the teams, is a car owner, knows the rules violation. Your thoughts as to how that story has played out since Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock?
It's unfortunate for everyone involved, for them as drivers, for the rest of the team owners and sponsors. Unfortunately, we're spending a lot of time talking about a negative thing in what has been a phenomenal month and is going to be a phenomenal race. We've had great crowds the whole way through, a really strong and exciting qualifying weekend, and what's looking like it's going to be a great race. And the TV blackout lifted, so many positive things. So really bummed for all of us that we have to talk about it. It's taking away from, partners that we have in Java House and Splenda and a lot of cool things we have going on. So just unfortunate. Sorry if it's loud. I'm driving to get my hair cut, and the sky has just opened up. So
it's quite all right, and I know how important that hair needs to look underneath the helmet on Sunday. So all good there. I don't want any aerodynamic drag issues that you're going to be dealing with. And since you did a great job as an owner of working in Splenda and Java House, that is obviously the big development for you. It's not Ed Carpenter Racing. It is ECR. How has your life changed as a car owner these last few months?
It's been a lot of fun. It's a great partnership. Our new ownership partners are great, and the brands that we have on the car are a ton of fun. The activation they're doing, this will be year 22 of the 500 for me. This is the first time I've ever had been a part of a nationally televised commercial with our partnership. So a lot of really fun things. They're doing a really good job engaging with fans. We'll be at their Java House location in Clay Terrace tomorrow afternoon, I think at 4:30. So, one of many great opportunities for fans to get out and not only see the three of our drivers, but also sample some great products.
I never thought I would make a reference, you and a joke I used to make about my late father. My dad used to run a liquor store in my small hometown of Southern Indiana, later got in the office coffee service business. So you've made the same transition eventually from Fuzzy's Vodka, now to Java House and Splenda. So now in the business of sobering people up a little bit over the course of as an older racer. Just your thoughts. Go ahead.
We have an espresso martini mix too, so I'm still working all front.
You got all the angles covered. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. I'm well-rounded.
I was going to ask you about the commercial because obviously I saw it on the video boards and saw it in terms of the quals coverage this weekend. The drivers, yourself, and Danica. What was filming that like?
It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't say I was in my comfort zone doing that, but the group that we filmed the commercials with were real pros, and obviously Alex and Christian and I have a lot of fun with one another, and I've known Danica for a long time. So it was a fun environment, a fun setting, and kind of the whole vibe of the thing at least was more in my wheelhouse. So a lot of fun. There's actually going to be another one that hasn't been unveiled yet that'll air for the first time during the race. So excited for the world to see that one too.
You've had a lot of talented drivers running with you, but Alexander Rossi is a 500 winner. His addition to the team has meant what to everybody involved?
It's been big, and I've answered this a few times, and I always want to, give credit to Renus VK, who was in that seat last year, because he's a super talented guy at Indy as well. And, happy to see him get in, hated for him to be in the position, fighting for his life. But Alex has been a great addition. Anytime you can add someone that's won this race, that's driven for a couple of the top teams in our sport, he's making us better and helping us get to where we want to go. So really having a great time working with him. We've been friends. We actually own a plane together and fly together. So it's really fun to be able to actually work together now as well too. So pleasure to have on the team.
You mentioned 22nd in terms of starts, and as of Sunday at 1:00, you will be 8th in the history of this race in terms of number of starts. A couple of guys in the field have a couple of more. That's it. The list is 7 people as of Sunday that will have 23 or more starts in an Indianapolis 500. What, Ed, does that mean to you?
I just feel lucky and fortunate to be able to still do this and drive race cars and really enjoy doing it and having fun. But, it's not something I take for granted. There's been many times in my career where I wasn't sure if that race was going to be my last one, and to still have the opportunity to get behind the wheel of an Indy car and work with such a great group of people at ECR. It's fun, and, you just never know how long the ride's going to last. And, I got out of the car yesterday, and it's as good as I've felt behind the wheel in a long, long time. And I feel really strong about our chances on Sunday. So, you haven't asked the question, but I get asked all the time, how long am I going to do this?
Right.
But after days like yesterday, I feel like I can keep going a while.
It was next, believe me. So thanks for asking and answering it for me. What's the strategy? You went from inside row 6 to middle row 5. I don't think there's that big of a difference in 2 spots, but just in general, everybody knows you can win from row number 5. What is your strategy like? Is it really that different than, say, somebody row 2, somebody row 3?
It's always a little harder the further back you are, but certainly I wasn't upset about jumping a row forward. I look at the start. The first thing you want to do is win your row and get through turn 1 clean. So I already picked up a row, so now hopefully I can win row 5 off the jump. But yeah, the race is so hard now. It's so competitive, and everyone pushes really all 200 laps, with the exception of some fuel saving. But really just spending a lot of time and focus on making sure I'm prepared, and, spend a lot of time through the whole month working on the sequencing of all the new tools we have in the car with the hybrid system. Just, you got to maximize everything, each of the 200 laps, and not make any mistakes. And, I certainly feel like the car is performing at a level that is capable of winning. And, now it's up to myself to go execute and the team around me to execute in the pits. And, yeah, I feel really good, feel really comfortable, and looking forward to Sunday.
You mentioned this, the chance to go see you and Alex and Christian. What's the next opportunity to meet the drivers of the ECR stable?
Yeah, I know for sure tomorrow afternoon. Hold on, let me just pull up my schedule. I'll give accurate info here. 4:30, 5 o'clock. We'll be there at least an hour at the Java House Cafe and Clay Terrace. So, it's going to be a good time. I think we'll have show cars out there, and I know they've got some giveaways, some limited edition merch that we've created kind of just for Java House customers. So should be a good time.
I'm a Java House customer. I may have to stop by. Thanks for the time, my friend. I'll see you Sunday.
Always great to talk to you.
You got it, buddy. Ed Carpenter, ECR Racing, joining us.